Hi everyone, it's Natalie here from Sanskrit Blue Tarot. And I just wanted to share some of my practice that I'm getting back into because I've got some projects going on and some ideas for projects going on. I don't know if I'll speak about them like now or later, but because I had a mentor who once said, don't ever talk about your babies, you know, your project babies, because it has the effect of like smothering them, basically. So kind of thinking my way through this as we go. But what I have enjoyed doing, you know, something I've enjoyed doing, and not for a while, but which connected me very, very deeply to trees, tree spirits, etc., is making books. Out of the prints, I think you can kind of see it. The lighting today is terrible because it's a rainy day, oddly, which is nice because it means I can be in here. We've been having like 100 and some degree weather lately, so it's awful. And it gets a little bit oppressive in the sunroom. But yeah, I don't know how visible this will be, but like this is old corrugated cardboard from some packaging. This is raw silk and oak leaves that I printed. And then inside is just kind of my like ode to oak leaves and oak trees. There's a whole spread there of one. And it's just it's prints that I do using different washes and materials, and I like bundle them together. If you look up or, you know, search eco printing on like Pinterest and stuff, you'll find tons and tons of examples of this in there. That's one of my favorites from this book. Oh, that one has baby acorns. And that's interesting because that's what highlighted there. It's so beautiful. Yeah, doing this process, like, my heart just kind of breaks and opens a little further because these are the trees on my mom and dad's property, and some of these are the trees that I have a really deep relationship with on their property. But yeah, so they got printed and made into this book, which is using Coptic stitch. I like Coptic stitch a lot. So a lot of my books, you know, and it's not that anything needs to be put in it, although it could be. It's just the book of the leaves. And I love how the pages are not even and they don't quite work together perfectly, but they do at the same time. Yeah. So that's one. Let's see what we have here. So this one, I gotta show what it looks like when it's all pulled together before I mess it all up. So yeah, this was, it's a piece of old sari silk, wrapped, you know, I wrapped the book, whoops, and then tie it, you know, wrap it around the button like this. And it usually stays in place. But I was unwrapping it and kind of not paying close attention. Of course, it's got loose threads and everything because it's like that. This is an eco print too. It's using, most of the time I need to find a source of rust to get things to kind of gel and work together. Ferrous, some type of ferrous substance. I think this one was mostly, yeah, just kind of, oh, I had geraniums in here. I forgot. So the geraniums are not going to be quite as clear. Maybe they are. I don't know how well the camera's picking them up. It's an accordion book, boop, like this. And the rust sometimes turns gray and sometimes it turns these beautiful shades of blue. And I stitched, I think you can see that. I stitched together the pages. It's a much thinner paper. It's not watercolor paper. It's either sketch paper or based on the way it's, I can't tell. It's arches. It's definitely an arches paper. You can kind of see, but this one is more, would lend itself more to being printed or like written on, I think. And of course, because it's an accordion book, it's writable on both sides. See, there's a flower. I think these were the white geraniums. I don't know if I was visible there. There's the flower. There's a leaf or leaves. The backs, because I used, well, we're all familiar with these, aren't we? The like black, here's one, black clips like this, you know, which I rusted with vinegar and tea and water and left outside, covered in plastic to really molder so it would be perfect. Although if you just put them on there and then stick them in your substance, you know, for working and printing, it'll do that anyway. But yeah, these are the geraniums. I love geraniums. They print beautifully and they are one of my favorite flowers. But yeah, so blue, and because the blue came out so much in the, you know, in there, I used blue sari fabric for wrapping. So that's one. And I always forget, yeah, use this. Don't wrap it as far as it'll go so that you can actually get a good wrap on the book. Oops. And then sometimes I just go ahead and tuck them like that. Sometimes it works better than others. But yeah, so there's one. Obviously I can't keep taking this amount of time or we'll never get through this. Here's another, just being real here. Here's another one. It's also sari fabric. I can't remember what book this is, but again, it was, you know, it was done. This one's raw silk as well. I don't know how well the texture of that fabric comes across, but it's really soft. Raw silk is beautiful. Another accordion book. Oh, I think this one was just nice paper. I don't remember what I used or what was printed. Oh, it's because that was the wrong side. Oh yes, I remember now. So this is one of the ones that I did where I printed tress cancha, which is, oh, for better or worse, is commonly known or called Wandering Jew. And it prints so beautifully. And this one just had the nicest, loveliest, most delicate outlines on it. And I really wish I knew how well those were coming across on camera, but I don't yet. And then the other side lent itself to, like, it's just pretty and it's clear. And I think my intent originally was to write the longer version of the Heart Sutra or part of the Diamond Sutra in it. Or to, you know, put it on Etsy so that it could be sold. So that's another one. What else? Oh, I love this. Oh, here's another one from that series. I think some of these were in a show that I did with the Fiber Artists Guild, or the Fiber Artists, what do we call ourselves? MOFA, Missouri Fiber Artists. Yeah, just the Fiber Artists. This is some baker's twine, or what, is that right? Was it called baker's twine? It's very cheap and easily found in grocery stores. And of course, again, this is raw silk and a piece of metal that was really lovely and made a nice rust pattern. And this one's also an accordion book with tress cancha on it. I think I probably need to widen out, or whoops, that's zoomed in. Yeah, we'll go there. I don't like having my tripod feet in shot. That bugs me. We'll stick with this. I mean, there's not a huge amount to see. It just is kind of cool. And I liked making it like this because it resembles the craziness of the vine itself, right? The way that it just kind of unwinds. And I like using stitch, and part of the bundling material that I used to stitch the books, you know, and stitch all of the different pages together. You can see sort of the leaves of the plant there. I also use other materials. There's a tape that you can get that is like meant for mending books that works really well. And that's how I attached the baker's twine there. I don't know how much that shows up, but it picks up the purple that came across in the printing. And then, yeah, obviously this gets wrapped all the way around. But yeah, that was fun as like a piece that sat on a table in that show. This, I think, was also maybe in that same show. And it has faded a little bit, but not as badly as I would have thought. So this one is from a hibiscus, like a late summer hibiscus. I wish I knew the type. It's one that my mom and dad have that grows on their property. I have a hair in my mouth. There we go. And it's really beautiful. It's a red, but as you can see, maybe it comes out kind of like a blue when it's printed. And so what I have inside the book, isn't that marvelous, is the result of the invasive beetles that eat the leaves, because I used some of the dying leaves and printed those with the flowers. And you get these lovely, delicate colors, you know, and sort of imprints with the leaves. And I don't remember if it was in this book. I think I laid it on a tray because these were the baker's twine pieces that I had. I can't remember the way of the style of binding that this is, but anyway, that's what I used. And you know, you just get a variety of different, and there's even some of the original leaf that just bonded with the paper, original flower petal. Yeah, in there as well. And then you get the delicate color and everything and shape, and it just is a wonderful experiment. Yeah, I don't know how much people appreciated this or would, but you know, it's fun. I love doing it. There's the back page, you know, so we get a flower and then the back page. I think I had it laying on a tray like this so that it could be engaged, but it also, you know, spread out all of the pages of the book and everything with all of the strings, which are multicolored. I've really not curated my collection of artwork as well as I should. This series of prints has a very interesting story. Again, more baker's twine here. It burned. This book was accidentally overcooked. And it set off fire alarms, and it was kind of a disaster almost, but not. And that fabric just was awesome looking, so it ended up being part of this book. This is Japanese, invasive Japanese honeysuckle. It is also, as you can see, maybe an accordion book. And, oh no, this isn't the one that burned. It was the process that I used resulted once in a book that did burn. I don't think I actually made a book out of the burned ones. But in this one, I really got a lot of that beautiful green color. I had enough pressure and various things. There's a lot of subtlety in these that isn't always obvious. This one picked up more of the tea that I used rather than, in some places, than the actual green from the plant. Although sometimes you get a lot of nice green from the plant. Sometimes you just get a really pretty outline. Oh, I love this one. I've always loved that one. It's just so pretty. And just, it's lovely. Yeah. And it just gives you all kinds of interesting, you know, things. I don't think there's anything truly startling in there yet. Oh, that was an experiment where I tried like smashing the leaf into the page just to see what would happen. Yeah. So lots of fun there. Fun and games. All right, next one. And then we start getting into somewhere, you know, these are books where I took a little bit more time and effort and care in the creation of the actual book form. So this is an old linen that has, you know, I spent a lot of time stitching, you know, and adhering to the linen that I used, the actual black linen that I used. There's some sorry stuff. And it was one that I treated with avocado skins and pits and rust. Because rust is just such a great, you know, medium, iron oxide. And so if there's any pink coming across, it is pink in person. That is where that pink color comes from. And so this one is also an accordion book, but in a different shape, obviously, in a different form. So we've got the book pages on the inside. And I used, I mean, it's more of a traditional one, but here we get like more of the, this was a different point in my process. So we're getting more, oh, I guess it's upside down. We're getting more of the How am I doing there? There we go. We're getting more of the actual, oh, there's some of the berries. You know, this was, yeah, this was after I'd really developed more of a relationship with the plant, ironically. So there wasn't a huge amount that started to change in my process at a certain point, but the prints changed because my relationship with the plants that I was using changed. Let that sink in for a minute, because that took me a long time to understand. Like, why do some of these plants print so poorly for the first, 5 or 6 runs that I have? Some, of course, because of their chemical composition, will print immediately and very beautifully. Others just won't. But I couldn't figure out why some and not others. Okay, so we're at the end of this book. That direction. If we go this way, we get a completely different view. Let's see if we can move it over this way. Yeah. Completely different view and different sides of the prints. Because we're on a different side of the page, right? So we've got one side and then we've got the other. Although you won't see a huge difference, looking at it like, oh, did I do that side? Didn't I do that side? Ideally you won't be able to tell. Look at those berries. You can see where they outlined and highlighted. Yeah. So the relationship with the plant ultimately started to change the way they printed. And over time, where I really worked hard to establish that relationship with certain plants, it became more and more apparent. Trying to figure out which direction is the right side up. So here's just a plain one that's black. Some of these I had ideas for. Oh, geez, that's a good one. Look at that. I had ideas for doing them as an installation, like hanging the books up by, with them laying open on the floor like this, but then hanging them up, by the ceiling or from the ceiling, so that they'd be hanging up at different heights and resting on the floor. And these are Japanese bush honeysuckle, which is an invasive plant, with tea and with different flowers, because the flowers, look at them talking. They have a conversation. Oh, I love them so much. They have such a bizarre relationship with this plant. But yeah, this again was further on in that relationship. And with the flowers, would you believe it? The plants, the flowering plants that I was borrowing from as well, because these are not the flowers from the Japanese honeysuckle. These are the flowers. These flowers come from, because we got a vertical view here. They come from completely different plants. They're coming from something else. And so, yeah, I had to figure out, like, how do I get the flowers without harming the plant? Which to me also includes, like, don't pick the flowers even if they look dead, but they're still clinging, because there's some life in there. There's still some attachment there. And the plant sometimes really does not take kindly to being approached that way. And so then you have flowers, but you get no color. Some more variegated cardboard. I can't remember where that came from, but it was too cool not to keep it and use it as like end pages in a book. Oh yeah, this was way early. Okay, you can see the difference. Not much color from the plant. Mostly what you're getting is from the rust, right? And from the outline of the plant. And I, of course, find value in this because of process. And because it's beautiful. There's still a lot of beauty in there. It's just different. Yeah, these were from earlier in the process, but further on in my process of learning to be a bookmaker. Yeah, that was when I was still really angry. This species is invasive. It can't be here. Same. Oh, this is the burned one. Here's the burned one, I think. I think this is the one. Yes, this is the burned book. Burned book. And so I used an appropriately colored, fabric for that. Yeah, this one accidentally burned while I was trying to process it. And so we get all of these extraordinary images, I think, where we've also got the rust in here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, where there's a lot there. Oof. Yeah, the rust like burns as well. I can't remember exactly how it happened. I think I fell asleep while it was on the stove cooking and printing. And then before I knew it, so the bottom of the pot burned, but the actual prints did not. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but I fell asleep on the job. Anyway, there's that one. One more. So I was going to also then go this direction. Look how teeny. I love this one so much. This was going to be part of my, and I may still do it. I don't know. I lost track of it back in 2018 when I had to move. But similarly, this is teensy weensy, and it's using, this is a familiar thing, right? Where the way we bind books, where you've got like the tape, the binding tape on the spine, you know, and I loved using the elastic and the little button because that works well as a closure. Come off of there, baby. Here we go. And then again, this was intended to be one where it's taped in and it's very thick and it's very, very long and could be hung up from the ceiling, you know, but you can see a lot of color in there, and there's a lot. I think this one too. Yeah, it is. It's bush honeysuckle. This is the long view. So the inside of the pages, look at that color. There's a geranium flower. That one's a marigold. But this, yeah, this was a point at which it started to sing. So, yeah, this, oh, look. And when the plants start singing to you and you're having a dialogue, every time I would open the bundles, I would get so excited. And you know how it gets, maybe, kind of with other things that are similar, where you're like waiting and waiting and waiting. This red, this is from a barberry bush. Oh, I love this one. And then on this side, this was where I just had single plants between two pages, see? So you can see it's more like this, oh, here we go, this direction. What else do we have? It's more like flipping through a book. And rather than picking and choosing, you know, look at that blue. You just sort of take whatever, print is there, and you go with it, right? And these pages are like the end pages of the bundle. And of course the strings that you keep seeing are, those are the string from, what am I trying to say? Those are the string that I use to wrap the actual bundle, because they take on beautiful color in a sort of eco-dye kind of way. I'm not seeing such a mix of beautiful ones right at the moment. Here, oh, that's nice. It's got some good color. It's hard not to evaluate, isn't it? And just kind of appreciate, oh, look at that. That one turned out so well. And here, these, I think it was these two, no, it was these two pages that were stuck together, see? They originally went the other direction. So these two were folded together like this and this. And they came out like that, where you get the two pages. Yeah, so it's a wonderful process. Anyhow, I just thought it'd be fun to share that, because I really miss making all of the books. I miss making the prints and the printmaking process, because it's so much fun. I've done a lot of bookmaking over the years and over time. I just haven't, I have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of prints that are just hanging around waiting to find a home and be put into a book. I'm curious to know what you think, because, you know, people have ideas. They see stuff and they go, ooh, you know what? That reminds me of this, or whatever, right? So anyhow, there's that. If you're still here, thank you. And I'll be probably talking more about this again soon. All right, take care. Bye.